So, I bet you have wondered to yourself, how can I travel back in time? So I thought today I would tell you how you can actually travel back in time. So, many of you may know that when you go outside and look up at the night sky, you are in fact looking through technically a time machine, because you're looking up at the night sky and you're seeing stars, which all of that light is from the past. You're not seeing what is, you're seeing what was. So if you look at one of the stars, for example, if you're looking at the closest star to us, Alpha Centauri, is 4.2 light years away from us. That means it takes that light 4.2 years to reach us, which means that we are seeing light from 4.2 years in the past. So if you look at that light at that very moment in time and say to yourself, okay, I'm going to come exactly 4.2 years from now and do the exact calculation and stand there, you'll be seeing the light that you were seeing when you were stood back there that amount of time ago. That's how mind-bending this universe in which we live actually really truly is. So, I asked myself many times, how else can I experience time travel? And the best way, honestly, is to go and look at the night sky. And, maybe I guess you would say it's clickbait because I'm telling you how you can travel back in time, but it truly is. You get a grasp of reality when you have a telescope. Telescopes are the greatest thing in the world, and I've actually made a video on my experience of observing the universe so far. And this is basically me trying to spread the word and get people to buy telescopes, whether that be, a cheap one or start out cheap. And then, if you enjoy the hobby, then you can advance with your financial situation or whatever it is, so that you can observe more objects in more detail. As they say, girth is better, and that's what matters. Girth matters more than length, and that is very, very true in telescopes. That's what I'm talking about, not anything else. But seriously, an 8-inch telescope that is relatively small, not like super long, matters more than having a really long one, because you being a couple more inches off the ground isn't anything to more. It's all to do with how much light it brings in and how much light is being reflected. So that's basically what it's about. So you need one that can bring in more light. That's why when you set your camera up, if you have a camera that you can put on a manual mode, that's why if you put the shutter speed at 30 seconds and then you adapt and change the other settings, gain, etc, that's how you can take such good photos of the night sky, because obviously your eyes, you cannot take in that much light, but this camera can take in 30 seconds worth of light. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, your eyes aren't always open to that much light, and you can only interpret as much light as a human being can. So that's why we use these objects like cameras, telescopes, things like that, so that we can observe the night sky in more detail, of course, as well as many other aspects of our planet and other planets out there in the universe, in the galaxy. We're not seeing other planets outside of this galaxy at all. Not a chance, because of course, we're seeing galaxies and things from millions of years ago. I was just thinking to myself, okay, let's say you take take a star, a galaxy, right? A galaxy that's from 66 million years ago, right? They're seeing the dinosaurs. If they have the ability to see into our galaxy and see into our solar system, they're seeing the dinosaurs, bro. But depending on how rare life is in the universe, they might not care. They honestly might not, because I think at this moment in time, I don't think we'd travel super far just for although I guess complex life. It is complex life, because complex life is anything that is non-microbial. So an insect is complex life, of course, and we are complex life. But intelligent life is different. Like, we are consciously self-aware of our existence. That's why we are able to guide other animals into having these experiences and giving them better lives, in the sense of, because we can actually have that self-awareness of creating a civilization, a society. They have their own versions of that, of course, but we're able to adopt that information and analyze that information differently, and that's how we've created all of these mad technologies. And we've got plenty more of things that are probably out there in the universe that can do similar things to us. But if they can only see a planet with dinosaurs on it, maybe dinosaurs aren't that cool to them. Are we really going to travel X amount of distance and use a lot of resources just to go to see some dinosaurs? They would have to do some mad predicting to go, okay, there's dinosaurs there now, by the time we get there, will there be a civilization? Even by the time they reach us, probably we might not even exist. You know, who's to say it will take 66 million years to get there? If they're traveling at the speed of light, 100%. That's why I'm so confused when people bring up light speed. I know this is a random video, but we are talking about time travel. But when people bring up light speed as being fast, it's fast, like, for us, like, wow, we travel at like 0.1% of the speed of light. And, you know, let's say we travel 99%, because we're probably not going to be able to travel at the speed of light, like, unless we're able to manipulate space and time, like, and not actually have be us like propelling an object. You know, we probably can't travel faster. That bit is irrelevant, right? But what I'm trying to say is 99% of the speed of light cosmically is still nothing, because, you know, wow, let's say Andromeda Galaxy, which is the closest galaxy to us. Bear in mind there's billions of galaxies, and it's like 2.5 million years away from us. So it'd take us 2.5 million years to travel there at the 99% of the speed of light. What's the point? Realistically, what is the point of traveling there, unless it is for something you know, there has to be an incentive, like, to observe other life. Unless life is ridiculously rare, then they're not going to do it. So that's my opinion. I think life is way too, maybe it's way too common, but also maybe it's way too rare for us to know. It could be super common, and civilizations are like, okay, wow, you know, there's another somewhat technologically advanced society. We see so many of these, they usually kill themselves off or whatever, let's say, or even if they don't, they advance into another more advanced species, and then they go, okay, we might contact them and try to liaise with them and trade and learn more knowledge, give them knowledge. Maybe we'll learn some new things because our brains work differently if we can find a way of communicating X, Y, and Z, you know. But for us, we must look at it as a way of like, okay, what happens if life is rare? Like, will we say, okay, there's a type of rat on a different planet, you know, and it's going to take us 500 years to get there. Are we wasting the resources of 500 years to research about rat, an alien rat? We might. It just depends how many resources we have and how resource abundant, you know, the area we are in is. Because, you know, I know there's lots of resources out there in the universe, and perhaps the resources, we can use them and go out and do these experiments and do these different things, but we don't know what the future is going to hold for our species, you know. Of course, with the current crises that we've gone through with these, you know, people trying to start World War III, you know, COVID, X, Y, and Z, you know, we have random things that, you know, they throw a big right hand. That's what I'll say. I was going to say they throw a curveball, but it's more like you just get punched out of nowhere and you're like, okay, right, I now need to deal with this scenario. Like, you can never predict what the future is going to hold for a species, because you don't know what kind of crazy bastards are going to be born.